It's match day 45 in the Championship. It's getting tighter than ever, and I have no idea who's going up and who's getting relegated. I'm Craig Savage. Next to me is Charlie Bates, and down below is Daniel Cody. And we're going to start off with the Friday night fixture of Huddersfield versus West Bromwich Albion. West Brom picked up a point against Fulham. Huddersfield, they won on Tuesday night, didn't they?
No, drew 0-0. Sheffield.
Oh, there you go. Typical Huddersfield. They drew. I'm going to start this one off with Charlie Betts.
This is such a tough one. I know it seems obvious on paper, but West Brom are not in groundbreaking form at the minute, are they? So I don't know. The West Brom will get a win, but I don't think it'll be pretty. I don't think it'll be the style of win that you'd expect of a team who are second in the table and only 2 points off the top, if I'm honest. But I think they'll have enough quality and too much for Huddersfield. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for an unconvincing 1-0 West Brom win.
Cody?
I mean, both teams drew 0-0 in midweek. Both teams are draw specialists, with the exception of Huddersfield at home to Luton, where they were absolutely woeful. They couldn't hit a barn door. I can't back them to score. And West Brom haven't been much better. So I know this is controversial, but combining all my results this weekend, this is going to be 0-0, and it's going to cause a huge shift at the top and bottom of the table.
I utterly disagree with your change of shift up the top. No, I think this is with West Brom. I think it was a good point. Obviously, Brentford won today, or at the time of recording today, on Wednesday. No, I think West Brom will get a line in this one. I think they're going to win 2-0.
I hope you're right.
I think I will. Moving on to Saturday, it's the first big game down at the bottom of the table. It's Charlton Athletic against Wigan. Now, Wigan won 8-0 against Hull, which none of us or anyone in
no one in the world predicted that.
Predicted an 8-0 win for Wigan, who they obviously lost 12 points. Cody, start with you.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple of people in the comments. I mean, if you can even claim you predicted an 8-0 win in any fixture, you're an idiot, because I'm sorry, no one goes for that. Charlton, I mean, thank you, Birmingham, by the way. Finally did something right last minute today as we're recording. You have to back Wigan. You have to. And that will leave Birmingham with a tense final day of the season. But the reaction out of Wigan has been incredible. You've got to praise the players. And I'm going to go for a pretty convincing win, 3-1.
Charlie?
Yeah, to be honest, I think obviously that we're not going over it again, but that last minute equaliser tonight, I think as Luton fans, obviously you breathe a slight sigh of relief because, there's still a slim chance. With Luton playing Hull, which we'll get onto in a bit later on. But yeah, I think the nerves, the pressure of now having to get a result against what is a rejuvenated Wigan, despite what's obviously been happening, I think it'd be too much to Charlton. They crumbled in the 94th minute today or whatever it was. So I think it'll be actually a fairly comfortable, not 8-0, mind, but a fairly comfortable win for Wigan. So Charlton don't score many, so I'm actually going to go 3-0 Wigan.
Well, to be honest, I was literally waiting on Charlton's result against Birmingham just to decide. This is the first time I actually waited for a result to decide my next prediction. As Cody said, I'm utterly relieved that Jukovic scored in the 93rd minute. That did surprise me. I didn't think Birmingham would score after going 1-0 down. What can you do for Wigan? Like, you surely your confidence is going to be way up now, because you don't bop a team 8-0. Well, 7-0 in the first half. You don't bop a team like that in the Championship. You don't do it. I know Brentford done the same thing to Luton in December, but you don't do that at this stage of the season. However, I have gone for Charlton to lose. It is going to go down to the final day regardless. Charlton 1, Wigan 2. And we go on to Stoke City, who picked up a point against Bristol City. They're home to Brentford. Brentford, literally on West Brom's tails. I will start this one off. This is going to go down to the wire as well. Brentford picked up a good 1-0 win against Preston. Scored a good goal from Wally Watkins. And obviously, they've done well against Derby the week before. I'm going to go the same scoreline as they beat Derby in 3-1. Charlie?
Brentford are obviously on fire. I would like to think Stoke are safe. I mean, they're 5 points off, 50 points. Given the fixtures that are still yet to be played, I'd like to think they're safe. So I think they might not consciously, but there might be a bit of an easing up of the tempo and stuff. So I think it'll be a fairly safe Brentford win. I mean, I know that we're going to never hear the end of this, but I think Brentford might make automatic promotion, because I know that Dan will obviously tell us about how he predicted at the beginning of the season, and kudos to him. But yeah, I do actually think, I know that I predicted West Brom to win, but I think going to the final day, Brentford will do it. So with that in mind, I'm going to go Brentford, but I'm going to go slightly different, 3-1, because I think they might leak one goal from the attacking threat they've got.
So the same as me. Fantastic. Cody?
I'm going to be probably the most controversial moment of the episode here, particularly with Charlie's work colleague in particular. The reason I say this is going to be a shift. Stoke have got the pressure off, and that's the way I'm looking at it, Charlie, because they've got that point. They're safe. Michael O'Neill's starting to get something out of them, and he's going to be threatening people with a lack of contract for next season. So here's what I'm going for. Brentford, to be honest, they hadn't been talked about much, apart from gradually they're in good form, they're creeping into contention, and now they could go into Saturday knowing a win's going to get them in the top 2. And I'm sort of the opinion that pressure is going to get to them in the most unexpected game. So you're not going to believe this. I'm going for a 1-0 Stoke win. And I am prepared. I am prepared to take the pelters if that goes wrong. But if it comes off, that's genius.
Leave your comments down in the section below if you think Stoke are going to beat Brentford.
I did say that for Stoke at Leeds as well.
I mean, we don't condone gambling, but I'd love to know the odds on a 1-0 Stoke win. Like in that
please don't gamble.
Yeah,
if you do gamble responsibly. Moving on to probably the most pointless game this weekend, because these two teams have got pretty much nothing to play for. Blackburn Rovers, they're at home to Reading. Cody.
Well, I'm glad you started with me, because I just want to point out Charlie's comments in the midweek episode about Blackburn charging into playoff contention as they fell to a 1-0 defeat. Reading were just as bad, to be honest, mate, weren't they? So, what do you go for it? I'm going to go entertaining. The mid-table games where no one's got anything to play for, all the defenders are on holiday, nothing to go for. 2-2, exciting game.
So this is Cody's game of the week.
Yep.
Of entertainment. Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not going to copy the same score, but I mean, I'm in line with Cody. I think there'll be a lot of action. I think because there's nothing to play for, bit of excitement. Blackburn have let me down a little bit. What I would say, I think, being a Luton fan, you two obviously going into the last game of the season, you don't want them to have too much momentum from this.
Yeah.
But I think Reading might have capitulated now. So I'm much as I probably won't like it for you as a Luton fan, I'm going to go 3-2 Blackburn.
It's funny you should mention about building momentum. The teams that Luton have faced haven't had momentum and not gained any points. However, I think Blackburn will get a point. Pretty simply. We said this from since we started these predictions, and we thank you for watching these predictions every week. That Blackburn have been inconsistent, and once again, Blackburn have been inconsistent. So, with an inconsistency, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Right, we move on to Fulham. Still in the very slight chance of getting automatic promotion, but it's unlikely. They're playing Sheffield Wednesday, who have been absolutely hopeless at home, but decent away. I will start this one off. I can't see Sheffield. I know Sheffield Wednesday have been decent away. I can't see them doing anything at Fulham, so I will stick with a Fulham 2-0 win. Charlie.
I think Fulham will win. I don't think Sheffield Wednesday have got enough in the tank, and as much as we sort of mentioned that maybe about home and away form, I think Fulham 5 points off with 2 to play of automatic promotion. Do you start thinking about? I know I mentioned it last week, but do you start thinking about sort of the playoffs, resting a few players and stuff like that? So I think Fulham will still win. I don't necessarily think it will be a resounding win, so I'm going to go 1-0 Fulham.
Cody?
I'm going for sticking with the theme. If nothing, I'm going to be consistent in this episode with my controversy. I'm predicting this penultimate week fixture list is going to be the one where the chasing pack for automatic promotion fall away. So I'm going for Sheffield Wednesday continuing their away form. Fulham a bit cagey at home, perhaps. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Sheffield Wednesday win. And again, if it doesn't come off, I apologise in advance for making ridiculous predictions on the face of it. But it's the most unpredictable league in the world, Craig. You've got to give me that.
It's the best league in the world. It's not the most unpredictable. It's the best. It's literally the best league. I never thought we would get to this situation where so many teams at the bottom could still go down. And, well, actually, to be fair, the top's actually quite easy. To be fair. But that's why it's the best league in the world. I love it. Anyway, speaking of teams down the bottom, the biggest game down the bottom, in my opinion, Hull City, who got spanked 8-0. They're playing Luton Town, who at one point on Tuesday were out of the relegation zone. I was getting a little bit excited until we conceded. I'm going to start with Charlie as a non-Luton fan. Where are you going to go with this?
I'm going to lay my thoughts out before I give you a score. I think that, with regard to Luton, there seems to be an element of luck, although they're down there. This 94th minute equaliser for Birmingham just kept the whole thing alive. I know that there's been a few, thing with Reading, for example, but there's been an element of luck with Luton, a little bit of results. Even when they've not played well or got the result they wanted, results around them have gone with them. So almost when you say like someone's name's on it, when you talk about cup runs, is there a bit of this about that, a bit of the magic of staying up? What I would say is the thing with Hull, it could either go one of two ways. And you do see it sometimes. A team gets spanked 8-0 and then they come out the next game to try and avenge some sort of pride or anything like that, and then end up sneaking a 1-0 win against whoever they're playing. Or, and this is the way I think it will go, the reason they got beat 8-0 is they didn't really have any desire or pride in the first place for their club and who they're playing for and whatever's going on, and they capitulate. So for me, I think it will be a win for Luton. 2-0 I'm going to go for.
Cody?
To be honest, I kind of get Charlie's thoughts of, I worry about Hull reacting. I worry about Hull coming out and being a different side now. But I think I've let my my superstition go, because Luton, I predicted a draw in midweek and they didn't win, they drew. So I can't go with that again. So I'm going to go for what I think in my heart will happen. Hull, they sold their best two players in January. They've been hopeless since. I said they'll go down the whole time since then. So I'm going to go for a convincing Luton win, and I know this is going to backfire straight away. But Hull City 0, Luton Town 3. It's going to the wire.
No, I agree. This is obviously speaking.
Oh, this is worrying.
It is very worrying when you're a Luton fan. I generally, when you start this prediction, I generally didn't think we'd be this close. I generally didn't think that.
I'm delighted to still be in it.
I'm buzzing that we're still in it. But you have to give kudos to Nathan Jones and obviously the players that obviously they've gained points. Apart from Reading, they've gained points. They've closed the gap. Right. Hull, on the other hand, have been a fucking disgrace.
Jesus Christ.
And
that were the thoughts of Craig Savage for any Hull City fans.
You let me finish. And I feel for the players. I feel for Grant McCann. I really do, because obviously you lost your two best players. Your captain and your vice captain have decided not to play. I feel for the fans. It's the owners. The owners have completely buggered them. The owners have completely buggered them up because they've just obviously pocketed the money and not really replaced them with any quality. And I generally do feel for the fan and for the players, because the 8-0, because it's not because they didn't try. It's just obviously they're not good enough. And obviously when you miss a few certain players, it does hurt them. And I think they will go down. I generally do think they will go down. And we said this back in January privately. We think they're going to go down, losing Brzezinski and Bowen. Scoreline wise, obviously, it's a four goal difference between Luton and Hull. Luton barely score away. Luton barely score at home either. Luton barely score. Hull, I don't know how they beat Middlesbrough. And then one win in 17 games. I generally do not know how they beat them. And fair play for beating Middlesbrough. But I'm going to go for the same scoreline with Charlie. And Luton just needs to win. It doesn't matter. Just needs to win. Luton are going to win 2-0. I'm
so glad you went on that rant, Craig, because if Hull do nick a win on Saturday, you are going to look so ridiculous.
Can I just... So your comment of them being a disgrace doesn't include the fans, the players, the manager. So essentially, when you said Hull were a disgrace, I assume you're referring to the board.
I'm talking about the Allen family.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is maybe when we clarify that, like...
No, that's what I mean. I generally mean, as I said, I feel sorry for the fans and the players and Grant McCann.
Yeah.
It's the owners.
I think the owners are a disgrace, not the club.
The owners have fucked them up.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll leave Hull. they've had a bad week as it is. We'll move on to the Neil Warnock derby. Oh, yes.
Another one.
Another one. Where he's managed two teams in the same season. It's Middlesbrough versus Cardiff. Middlesbrough have been shocking at home. Cardiff have been pretty decent. Oh, did they lose this week?
They beat Derby 2-1.
Oh, they beat Derby. So another great result for the Cardiff then. Kay, you're going to start with you this one.
It's a hard game to predict. Both teams got good wins in midweek. Neil Warnock, I reckon, of any game he'll have his team G'd up for, it's this one. Because, let's be honest, he performed miracles at Cardiff to almost keep them up in the Premier League last season. And they probably parted ways a bit too soon, in my opinion. So I'm going to say that he'll have the team right G'd up and he's going to get, but at last, the classic Neil Warnock 1-0 win. The bounce is back.
I think I predicted them to lose last week, to be honest, and they picked up a very decent victory. Cardiff, they want to confirm their playoff spot, and I think they will do that. Cardiff are going to win 2-1. Charlie?
No, I can see both sides of your argument, but I think referring to what Dan said, I think the grit and determination of Middlesbrough, like you said, of all the games, I know the home form hasn't been great, but Cardiff, a bit more freedom away from home. So I'm going to go an honours even 1-1 draw.
Moving on, Preston North End, they're at home. They lost to Brentford. They're playing against Birmingham, who got a 93rd minute, which pretty much keeps them in the Championship for next season. Thank you, Jugovic, for doing that. I'm going to start this one off with a simple. I've got nothing to really say about these two sides. I think they're pretty much where they are. I don't think Preston can make the playoffs now, and Birmingham, they're safe. Preston are actually going to win a game. They're going to win a game 1-0. Charlie?
Do you know, for all the good that it did for Luton, I think that draw today it's papered over some cracks at Birmingham in the sense that they are still in woeful form, one of the worst teams since we've come back since the lockdown, against a poor Charlton team in terms of what we've been talking about and in form. So for me, I think it would actually be quite a resounding 3-1 Preston win. Because Preston are not the worst side. They're not in great form, but I still think when you've got two teams that are as badly out of form as these, Preston's quality will shine through. 3-1 Preston.
Cody?
Preston have fallen away. They haven't got the same riches, the same squad depth that other teams have got. It's understandable. Birmingham, I mean, let's be honest, they've been so poor since they've come back. The Pep Quartet leaving hasn't made much of a difference. Yes, they showed a bit of fight and they played a bit better against Charlton, but let's be honest, it still wasn't brilliant.
They were rubbish against Stoke.
Yes, but they had improved against Charlton in midweek, but they weren't great. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw because it's the safest answer I can come up with. But let's be honest, either team could have an off day and it could be 3 or 4-0 either way. It's one of those, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The Championship's just so unpredictable. We said it many times. Coming up next is a London derby. We have a London derby. QPR, they're at home to Millwall. Charlie, start with you.
Well, Millwall's away form is a lot better than their home form. QPR at home aren't great, so all points towards a Millwall win. You obviously watched the game midweek. I think, again, QPR maybe lack a bit of firepower for the possession that they have. I think they're missing the likes of Jordan Hugill and people like that. So I think I'll go for a sort of a fairly resolute performance from Millwall. Due to lack of goals from QPR, 2-0 Millwall.
I'm going to have to go the same, to be honest, Charlie, with a 2-0 win for Millwall. QPR, do you know what? I can't understand QPR because they actually played okay Tuesday. I know this is against Luton, but they played some nice stuff, actually. They changed their shape second half because obviously they were losing. I thought they got in behind. They've got some really quick lads, and I can't understand why they didn't really use that from the start. They didn't do that in the first half. It really surprised me. However, no, I say QPR are still not in great form, even though they picked up a point. They probably should have taken 3. But yeah, no, I agree with the same scoreline with a 2-0 win to Millwall. Cody.
So I don't quite know where you're getting the 2 for Millwall from. I mean, they've scored 4 in 6. They haven't scored more than 1 in any of those games. I know they've got a couple of good results. They're very resolute defensively, but I couldn't back them to score more than 1. My only decision here is whether I go for 0-0 or 1-1. I don't think QPR will lose at home. I think they played well enough in midweek. They just didn't have the firepower. So based on that, I'm going to go 0-0. I apologise to both because either could win it, but 0-0 for me.
Anyway, we move on. It's Swansea City. They are playing Bristol City at the Liberty Stadium. Brian Brewster is still scoring. He finally left Sonny Bradley's pocket. Other than that, they're good 2-2 draw at Forest. I'm not going to lie, it's a good 2-2 draw. However, I think they're going to do one better. I think they are going to win this game. I don't know if Swansea can still make the playoffs. Can they still make the playoffs, or is it gone now?
3 points off it with 2 to play.
Oh, they still got a chance then. I think this might go down to the final day for them. I think they're going to win 2-1. Cody.
Well, Dean Holden's still unbeaten. You see, I'm hanging on to that, to be honest. They've picked up a couple of good results. I know they drew in midweek, but Stoke were a side battling for their life. So I can't see Bristol City losing it, but equally, Swansea have got goals in them. So I'm going to go for a slightly more thrilling draw. Another one of those games to watch at the weekend. It's going to be another 2-2 draw for me.
You only have one thrilling game, Cody.
Well, I'm picking 2. Aren't we lucky this weekend?
Charlie.
Yeah, it's a bit of a thing because we sort of mentioned that, Swansea obviously drew a Forest tonight, but there's a question over whether Forest are taking their foot off the gas a little bit. I don't know. Swansea have got goals, but they do leak them as well. See, I'm sort of tempted with the 2-2 draw, but I'm better than that. I'm not going to copy. Do you know what? I'm going to go thrilling. 3-3.
Wow.
Swansea 3.
I don't think we had a 3-3. I predicted a 3-3 draw, so I say, because there has been a 3-3 with Birmingham Hull.
I predicted Luton Barnsley to be 3-3. That was an idiot move.
Well, you got the draw right. You got the draw right. Right, moving on to Sunday. Leeds, they're away at Derby. This would be really, really funny if Leeds get promoted at Derby, where Derby knocked them out in the playoffs at the Spygate from the season before. Also, we are recording again before a Leeds game. This is just really getting on my nerves. Leeds are playing Barnsley on the Thursday. We are recording this on the Wednesday night. Leeds will get promoted this weekend.
Yeah. Oh,
Leeds will win. They'll win against Barnsley, and they're going to win against Derby. They're going to win 2-0. Cody.
I agree. Leeds will get promoted. Don't know whether it will happen this weekend. I hope so, because that means they will have beaten Barnsley, which we need to happen. Derby were pretty poor away at Cardiff. It's a tough one because Derby, they started all right after the lockdown, to be honest. They started scoring goals, but it's all going wrong again. They're shipping goals on the road, but they've got a great home record. So Derby, 1-1.
Got a great home record, but lost to Brentford.
Brentford are on fire. You can't judge any side on that.
Hey, you've been slagging on Brentford in the last 6
They've got the second best home record in the league, Craig. That's a good enough stat for me.
Stats lie. Charlie.
Yeah, I sort of hang on to the fact of, like we've mentioned before a little bit with Leeds, if a team sets up to be defensive, it can sometimes. I mean, to be honest, Stoke had stifled them until that ridiculous
penalty.
So if Derby go there, who haven't really got anything to play for, are probably going to go there and maybe 2 schools of thought, or either go in there and just play a bit of freedom, see what happens because we've got nothing to play for, or we don't want to get embarrassed, so we're going to try and shut up shop from the outset. So I'm tempted to go for a 0-0 draw. And I just think a little bit of pressure building off of Leeds, and I'm going to go Derby 0, Leeds 0. I think Derby are going to go there to stifle them, 0-0.
Interesting. I didn't expect that. I really didn't. And their final game from this weekend is Barnsley versus Nottingham Forest. Barnsley obviously playing Leeds on the Thursday. We don't know the scoreline, but we never know because it's the Championship. Going to start with you, Cody.
I need Barnsley to lose games, but I don't think they're going to lose this one. I really think they're going to, because at this point they will have lost to Leeds and they'll know at the weekend they need to win. So my thought process is they're going to go out all guns blazing. They're going to go attacking. They're going to play out from the back. They're going to play the old style. But Nottingham Forest have got goals in them. Barnsley aren't great at the back, albeit better than Luton. So do you know what? Just to annoy you, Craig, it's the third thriller of the weekend and it's the third 2-2 draw.
Charlie.
Do you know what? If Cardiff hadn't won, I honestly would have thought that Nottingham Forest had secured that place in the playoffs and would have therefore set up with a weakened team, and Barnsley might have nicked a win. Now that there's a bit of pressure because there's teams quite close to Forest, I think they've still got to come out and play. So, however, there is a part of me that thinks that we've had so many results going so many different ways recently.
It's so hard to go for the obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, so I genuinely think that Barnsley might, due to Nottingham Forest going bombing forward as they do, and they do attack well, but because of that, they are susceptible to the counter and getting leaking goals. I am going to go for 2-1 Barnsley.
You better be wrong. You better be wrong, son.
Right.
You just can't go for the obvious result now, can you? You can't.
No, and I just think between now and the end of the season, there's going to be more. There's been so many shocks and twists as it is, and there has to be another one. I mean, there was 8-0 the other night. Why can't Barnsley get 2-1 against Forest?
Well, Barnsley will find out from everyone else's scorelines because obviously Barnsley are playing Sunday and everyone else is playing Saturday, which could work in their favour or could not work in their favour because if results don't go their way, they're doomed. And obviously they still, I think they've got to play Brentford on the final day, so they're doomed. I'm sorry for Barnsley fans, but they're doomed. To be honest, Forest, I think they're too strong. Lewis Grabban's on like 25 goals this season now. Joe Lolly is obviously, who Charlie loves. He's obviously scoring goals as well. No, Charlie went for a 2-1 win for Barnsley. Cody went for a 2-2 draw for. No, I'm sticking with Forest. I really am. I think Forest that will do it for them. No, that's their playoff confirms it. Forest are going to win 2-0. And that is our predictions for match day 45. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Do you agree with Cody's match game of the day or not? Let us know in the comment section down below, and you can like, share, and subscribe. And you can follow us on Twitter @HonestFootball3. And we'll see you next time.